warming, a respectful welcome to our esteemed speaker today. Doctor, if you're available, you're welcome, sir.
Thank you. Before Dr. Mahmoud continue, I just want to give us updates. We already uploaded our recordings. This is a recording cohort two for Python, for pandas and NumPy. And today, after recording today, we'll upload recording here and here. And the next week we have Dr. Ibrahim. We'll do the next week, and week after we have Dr. Idris. Will do this one. So thank you everyone for joining. And after the Dr. class, I will explain today assignment, this week assignment. So we'll start seeing assignment from this week, and we'll follow up with a detail about the assignment. But at the end of this class, I will explain details about the assignment. So over to you, Doctor. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shamsuddin. Thank you also, Bala Meriga. I'm Mahmoud, not Awal. And all I can say is that we are all learners, because there's a saying which says learning never ends. So anybody who is in academic line is still a learner, irrespective of his position. Okay, so today I'm going to take us through processes of data preparation, how we can be able to prepare our data for an accurate analysis. Okay, because data itself is being generated by industries, is being generated by various organizations. The more we generate it, the more it becomes voluminous. So in that process, you may find out that you can come across missing values, you can come across empty values, you can come across inconsistent values within that data set. So the essence of using data is to what? Drive knowledge from it. That is why we have that adage, knowledge discovery from a data set, KDD. Because any data that you cannot drive knowledge from it is meaningless. So the reason why we use data is to drive knowledge, get insightful insight from that data, get insightful knowledge so that it can shape our understanding. It can also motivate us, guide us on how we do our things, or it brings changes to the processes of how we do things, whether in school, whether in industry, whether in supermarket, anywhere you can think of. So that is the reason why data becomes like an oil, or even bigger than oil in these days, because it guides decision makers to what? To carry out decisions that are properly, that are meaningful. Okay, because if you use a wrong data to carry out analysis or to develop a model and use that result, to carry out a decision, you may end up, carrying out erroneous decisions. Okay, so after that, let's see the importance of this cleaning data. If you clean your data set before carrying out any type of analysis, it brings about what? Ease of use. Because if your data set is in a normalized format and it is in organized format, you can be able to what? Search any value within it. You can be able to what? Share it with others. It can be even be reused. If you remember, I don't know if some of you are aware of this platform. I'm very much sure that a lot of you are aware of this platform, Kaggle dataset platform, UCI machine learning repository. You will find, when you check, you will find out that there are datasets that are what? Properly organized, normalized. And that will give you opportunity to what? Reuse them, because they are what? Normalized and organized. They are ready for what? Analysis. The only thing that remains for you is try to create a research problem from those from that data. Okay, sorry. Okay, then consistency. You may come across a data set that is not consistent. So if you come, if you wanted to do any type of computational task. Maybe you want to combine the data, you want to merge it, you want to concatenate, you'll find a problem in terms of that, because that data is not consistent. Or for example, let's say you want to validate your data. Okay, you want to give certain values. Let's say you say your feature possible values. You say you want numerical purely. So if you do not put control, for example, that data validation tool, you may end up what? Having a wrong entry. But if you put that, it will give you a restriction. Let's say maybe column A of your data set, you restrict it to be numerical values. So if an entry is attempted to be made maybe with a string or an alphabet, it will give a restriction. Okay, then the next one is model accuracy. If you use a wrong data to develop a model, especially machine learning model, no matter how good it is, no matter how the level of accuracy you have, it is still a wrong result, a misleading one at that. Because of what? Because the foundation of your analysis is wrong from the onset. You need to have your data set readily available. You have to put your data set in a what? Good format. You have to put it in a good format that your statistical tool can maybe machine learning algorithm can understand it. Okay, then we have some common cleaning goals and strategies. For example, if you have your data set, you can be able to first explore to see how does it look like using the visualization technique. For example, maybe you can use the correlation analysis. What is the correlation between your dependent variables and independent variables? You can be able to make a lot of basic correlates. What is, for example, the shape of your data? What kind of type of data is it? Is it integer data values within that data? Is it floating points? Or is it a categorical data? Is it numerical data? Is it discrete data? You can check that. Okay, you can even check the number of observations you have in the data. That's the instances of your data. Then secondly is the duplication aspect. If a data set carries or contains duplicate values, okay, you are going to encounter a lot of problems, especially in the aspect of producing results. You are going to have inaccurate results, especially if that data contains duplicate values, or you want to carry out any computational tasks, maybe like you want to merge the data set, or you want to bring additional information to that data. Then the next one is missing values. Missing values as well. If you try to develop any model or carry out any analysis that will guide people to carry out decisions, you may end up giving them a biased result, because missing values cannot be used to carry out a meaningful analysis. Okay, then the next one, we are going to focus, I think, on 2 or 3 things: removing duplicate values or duplicate data and missing data. Today, using the Google Colab platform in an experimental way, because these data preparation techniques, they are essential part of any data science project. Why? Because they can change the results of your analysis and give what? Inaccurate results. And inaccurate result leads to what? Inaccurate misinterpretation or inaccurate interpretation. Inaccurate if you interpret a result inaccurately, then people will use that result to what? To carry out a wrong decision. Okay, for example, now you wanted to know your spending habit on necessary item and unnecessary items. You can do that by recording your expenditures, and at the end of the day, you can be able to what? Carry out analysis. You can be able to identify what are the unnecessary items or activities that I'm spending amount of money on. From there, if based on the results that you have, if your data set is accurate, then you should be able to what? You should be able to what? Adjust. You should be able to change the way you do things. For example, at the end of the maybe at I think this is month ending. Maybe you can decide to collect data set. Okay, on the way you spend money, going to cinema, going to stadium, maybe going to club, going to unnecessary shopping. Buying things that are not necessary. Then you combine it with basic items like paying your NEPA bill, paying your water bill, buying food items, paying school fees, and many other buying, for example, medicines. If you combine this kind of data set, you can be able to what, carry out a simple analysis, even using what clustering technique to identify, the activities or the expenditures that consumes your money unnecessarily. Okay, so now we are going to use a data set called Iris dataset, which is a very popular dataset. You can find it on Kaggle platform. It is being used as a open source dataset. A lot of researchers have used this dataset to carry out analysis. But the most important thing is try to create a problem using this data that will make sense. Even if a dataset is online and it is available, try to create a problem or a research question that can lead to what, meaningful results. Using the existing data set is not a problem. Okay, so and we are going to also, I think a few weeks ago, last week, Lukman has discussed about pandas and NumPy. All of you are aware of what pandas is, which is a what Python library that we use it for what, manipulating data, providing data in a structured format, and dealing with time series and numerical tables using the pandas. While NumPy, we use it for working with arrays and matrices. Okay, so now we are going to try the use of this iris dataset to see if we are going to have these duplicate values and missing values in our data set. We want to explore to see if this data set is a data set that is readily available to, maybe train an algorithm, to develop a model and interpret that model, explain that model, and deploy it. But we need to try it and see. So we have our code here from sklearn, import dataset, import pandas and PD. All of you are aware of that. And we have our third line, which is iris equals to the dataset. We are asking the program to load the iris data set for us, and we have our data frame using using the arguments within the bracket. We have iris.data, then columns, because we are telling the program that, okay, this data should be presented in a what, in a structured format, that's in a two-dimensional array, in a two-dimension, because pandas present data in a tabular format, in a two-dimension. Okay, and with features. So let's run and see. Okay, here we are. Okay, but if we don't put this dot head, it is not going to display it. For example, let's say we make this dot head, because it's a function that displays the first 5 rows of our data set. For example, you can see we don't have anything, but when I take it off, when I remove the hash, then it will give us, it's going to display. So by mere looking at this, we'll see that we have 4 different features, or 4 different variables or attributes. Okay, as a data scientist, you can call feature attribute, you can call feature variable. They are all acceptable. The same way with rows, you can call row observation, you can call row an instance, you can call row as a sample of data set. So in this case, our data frame.head function display the first 5 rows by default, because we have sepal length, sepal width, petal length, and petal width. This is a data set extracted from what? from plantation of maybe flowers. By mere seeing the names, it sounds like biological names, sepal, petal, and whatnot. So, for example, let's say this we try to put a value within this function or an argument. Let's say maybe 7, for example. We run. You can see because it is counting from 0. It's considered as an array. It starts from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is it. Then the next one is data frame information. We would like to know, we would like to explore what does this data contains? What are the properties of this data? For example, if you have your computer, you can right click and check the properties of your computer, the RAM, the storage, the CPU, you'll see. So the same thing with data set. If you use this dataframe.info, you run it, it's going to give you this result. You can see you have series of numbers 0 to 3, and it gives you column. The column, you have them as features: sepal length, sepal width, petal length, and petal width. Then you have non-null counts. That means it is telling you that this data set contains 150 non-null values. Then the next one is data type here. Sorry, I'm very sorry for not using a pointer. This Google Colab does not have a pointer. It was until the last minute I came across. If not, I could have used the Jupyter notebook because of the pointer. So we can see that on the last column, which is data type, it is telling you that this data set contains floating point numbers, and we can see it clearly from here. You can see all of them are what? Floating point number. There is no single integer value here. Okay. So after this, we can also try to check the shape of our data set. Okay, if we want to confirm that, okay, this data set contains between 0 to 149. Okay, why not we maybe create another cell? Let's say using the code, we say, okay, data frame dot shape, for example. We want to see the shape of the data set. Okay, you can see. So using this, we have validated that we have confirmed that, okay, this data set contains 150 rows. That's 150 instances or 150 observations with 4 what features, or with 4 variables or 4 attributes. So don't get confused as a data scientist if you hear this terminology: feature, variable, attribute. They are representing the same. If you are reading research papers, you'll come across these variations. Also observation and rows and the instances, they are also representing the same thing. Okay, then the next, okay, we've already used on data frame dot head. Then the next thing is data frame dot tail. Okay, the head function displays by default first 5 rows, while the tail function using the data frame display what? The last 5 what rows. You can see 145 to what? 149. But let's say we put 10 as an argument of this function. We will find out that we have what? 10 of them. 140 to what? 149. Okay. So by mere looking, by doing this exploration using the data frame the default, you should be able to know that, okay, this data set does not carry any null values, because if there is, it could have shown. If there is, using this here, using this, sorry, using this feature, this column, non-null count, that means it doesn't have any null value. If there is, it's definitely going to show. And for the data type, if there is any additional data set other than floating point, it will also show here. Okay, so you can see the summary here shows that all the data contents, all the data future possible values contain are what? In floating point numbers. Then memory usage, it's telling that this data is going to occupy only 4.8 kilobytes of space within the computer. Okay. Then the next thing is, since we have already come to the realization that this data set does not carry any missing value or any duplicate value. So now let us try to create a small data set, our array of data set in a series format using pandas.series to see so that we can input null values or empty values to identify and also correct them. Okay, so let's say we have this: import pandas and pd, import numpy as pd. We must use this even if we don't use the, but if we have used it from the beginning, it's okay. For example, now we don't need to use the pandas, but numpy we must use it because we are going to deal with what? Arrays and matrices. So therefore, there is need for us to use the numpy. So now we have we now have our code here. Okay, so this is what our this is our what series data presented also in a tabular format. This is here. If you see here, okay, this code, sorry. Using this example one, it is telling the program to what? To display values of what? Values within this array. 0 as the first one. np.none means not a number. Not a number. Then the third value within this data set is what? Is empty string. You can see it. This is an empty string. Then the fourth one is what? None. Okay. So if we use this, okay, let me try to, okay, let me run it. Okay, but we need to check if it's true, whether we have null value or missing value within this array of data. We need to check that. We need to check that using the function is null. We need to check that. Okay, and it is going to what? Give us this output in form of what? Boolean values, whether it is true or whether it is false. And there are other ways that you can do it. You can represent it. If it's true, it will show 0. If it's false, it will show 1. So there are various ways that you can play around with your code, but you need to maybe allocate a time to see different ways of how you can write your own code, and they are all going to give the same output. Okay, for example, you have this one. Okay, this series 0, 1 to 4, it's telling you that we only have 4 entries: 0, np.none, empty, then empty string, and what? None. Okay, we can see that the first one here is false. Yes, it is not null value. 0 is a what? It's a value. Pandas.knows it recognizes what? 0 as a value because it is a number. Then np.none, that's not a number. Then it is true here. In the what? Row number 1. That is, sorry, row number 2. Index as what? 1. Then the string here, the empty string, it is what? False. Okay, because why is it this? Why does pandas recognizes empty string as a value? The reason is that pandas treat empty string as value because it may have a meaning in a data set. Okay, sometimes it may have a meaning in a data set. So if it does that, if it does not recognize it, there might be a chance of what? Loss of information. So, but sometimes if you want pandas to recognize empty string, as a null value, you can what? Explicitly declare it to it. You can show, you can tell it that, okay, I want this to be considered as a what? Null value. Okay. Then the next one is dropping null values, because now we already have our what? We already have our null values. Okay, maybe let me display how they are going to appear first. Okay, for example, if you have this, let's say we make this to be comment. Okay, okay, if you run this, okay, sorry, it's not going to show anything, but if we put okay, example one, just example one. Okay, so now you can see that example one display what? The real values within this array: 0, none. The empty string is here on row number 3, indexed by what? 2. Then you have what? Your non value as what? None. You can see. Okay. Then, okay, sorry. I'm using multiple windows. Okay, then the next, okay, sorry. Then the next thing is, how can we be able to drop these null values beyond identifying the missing values? Okay, so by mere looking and based on the explanation that I did, we should be able to know that row number 2 and row number 3 should be the ones to be dropped, because pandas recognizes 0 as value and empty string as value because of the reasons that we gave. Okay, so let us run and see. Example 1 dot drop now. This is the function that you use in dropping what? Values within a data set. Okay, using the drop now. Okay, you are telling the program that, okay, you're telling the pandas to what? Check this data frame and check which row contains null values. So you can see that from the output, we have what? Row number 1 indexed by 0. We have our 0. It drops row number 2 indexed by 1, but it still retains what? Row number 3 indexed by 2. It's here. Then it now drops what? The last row, which is row number 4 indexed by 3. Okay. Then we also have another example that will shape our understanding better using a data frame as well, to see how we can be able to display null values. After doing that, then we can be able to see how we can drop them. Okay. So we have our two-dimensional data frame here using example 2. Let us run it and see. Okay, we can see that the first value we have is 1. Second value that's across the row is 2. As that means we have this one, none. Then we have what? 7. Then we have 2, 5, 8. Then we have the last row, which is none, and 6 and 9. But we need to observe that column 0, that's the first column, the values of it contains floating point numbers. Then the second one contains also floating point number, but the third one contains integers. The reason why that happened, because column number 3, row number 2 does not contain any null value. But if we check the first row, which is indexed by 0, contains null value as its second value, then but row number 2 did not contain any null values, but the last one contains null values. So it's part of the reason why such thing happens. So let us run and see. Okay, we now have this. Okay, So since, okay, sorry, apologies, please. It is a very sensitive computer I'm using. Okay, so now that we have seen we have null values in our what two-dimensional pandas, data frame. Okay, so we are going to try and would like to drop the null values by mere looking. We should be, but based on rows, not based on what specific cell entry. Okay, so now we are going to what by mere looking, we'll know that okay, the first row and the last row contains what contains null values. So they should be the ones by mere looking, but we need to practicalize first to go. Then it should be able to return the what the second row indexed by one, which is contains non-null values completely. Okay, so let us run and see. Example 2, using the dropner function, you can see that it retains only the what the second row. Okay, and we need to observe that also. You can see that if we look at column wise, we'll see that the pandas upcast or converts its original values to floating point numbers. Why? Because of the presence of null value. But this last column, that's the third column, its original values 789 are retained as what? Are retained as they are without doing any upcasting, because they do not contain any empty or any null values. Okay, and also we can also, if we move further, we can also do that by specifying the column that we want. It should the column, or it should do it column wise. It should drop the, because the last one that we did is row wise based on the rows, but it will check the rows and remove the null values. But this one that we are going to work on, try, it is going to be done in column wise. Okay, so but we need to use a feature or an argument or a parameter called axis, okay, to specify that we want it to be done column explicit declaration. Okay, so if we use example 2 dot dropner function, okay, we are going to get our result in this format. So if you check here, you'll see that it checks the first column. The last value is not a number of values. The second one, the same thing, and the last one has the complete values. It has not null values. Therefore, it is going to be what displayed and retained. Okay. Sorry, my computer is too sensitive. Sorry. Okay. So then the next thing is would like to also would like to also append or add additional column with a non-null values using this existing data frame that we have. This one, example 2. Okay, we'd like to append this third column because we don't have it originally. So using this code, example 2, open bracket 3, you are telling equals to np.9. You are telling the program to what? To append three additional but column wise, not a number values to the data frame. Okay, so let us try and see this. Okay, we have it now. Okay, so the reason why we did this, we would like to carry out a different task using a thresh parameter, which is going to give us control on how to set the number of non-null values in which a row or column needs to have. Okay, so for example, if we have this, we have example 2 because it is basically example 2. The only difference is that we were able to add additional column to it using this code. using this code, and the future possible values of this code is what? Not a number. That's null values. Okay. So therefore, using this code, but we are specifying that what it should use what rules. Okay. But what is our what? The threshold is what? 3. Okay. So let us see. We are telling it that okay. We are telling this program that okay, please try to check which of this has which of this has which of this has 3 null values in it. Okay. Okay. Sorry. Yes. Which of these has more than one? Which of these has more than one null values across its rows? Okay. So using this, okay. So we can see if it checks the first row, we have 2 null values. Then if you check this, because it is counting from what? 0, 0, 1, 2. So that's why we have 1, 2 null values. Then we have, when it checks the second row, it only has 1 null value, just 1. That means it will count it as 0. Okay. Then for the last one, we have 2 null values. Then it is going to what? Drop it. So now it is only going to return this one because you already gave it a threshold. But let's say we try, for example, if we try 2, let's see what's going to happen. Okay, you see, because 0, 1, the count, please do not get confused, because the counting start from 0. The counting start from 0. That's why it gives you what ability to control using these parameters. It's count, because maybe some of you may get confused that you put 2 and we are seeing 2 here, but its counting starts from 0. Okay, so this is about how we can be able to identify missing values or null values, and also try to drop them or remove them. Then the next one is how we can be able to fill the null values. Okay, so if in a data set, sometimes if you have null values, you have 2 choice. You can fill them up their space, and you can also drop them or remove them. It depends on the size of your data set, and it depends on your search problem, and it depends on how impactful is going to be done to your the impact it's going to have on your data set. Okay, let's say we have this example number 3, which is going to display our data print in this format. Okay, so we have how many values? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But it is, you have give it an argument with an index parameter, saying that it should list instead of putting 1, 2, 3 sorry 0, 1, 2, 3 indexing, it should use what? ABCD, explicit declaration to it. Okay, so now we have 1 as 1.0, we have null values, we have 2 is here 2.0, and we have none is here as a null value, we have 3 as 3.0. We've already discussed why this upcast or conversion of integer values to why pandas converts integer values to floating point, or whenever there is a presence of what? Whenever there is a presence of null values within that array. Okay, so if we run this code, okay, this is what we have. Okay, then the next thing is we want to fill these gaps. How many gaps do we have, or how many cells of this data that we need to? We have on the one on the second row, Then the next one is on the fourth row, which is row number D. Okay, so we have what we call filter function. We are going to use filter function using the data frame example 3 to fill, but with 0 value. We've already what given it a what value, because if we don't give it a value, we are going to have a problem. Okay, so now it has filled these spaces, the two spaces on row number 2 and row number 4 as what 0.0 and what 0.0. For example, let's say we want to change the number maybe to be, for example, 5. Okay, so you can see that row number B is what 5.0 and row number D is what 5.0. So therefore we have two ways of what dealing with this missing value. You can fill the missing value and you can remove it depending on the impact it will have on your analysis. Okay, so the next thing is we have what we call forward fill method, okay, which is useful to the last value to fill in it. Okay, for example, let's say originally we have this okay, now that we have values, for example, we have this, but originally we know that row number B and row number D, they are the ones that what that are carrying null values. Okay, so now we are going to we've already filled them up with what 5.0 and 5.0 values. So now we would like to use we have what you call preceding values and for example preceding values and non-preceding values. Okay, so if we check, if we can check, row number A contains 1.0. It is the what? It is the last valid value that our pandas is going to check. So after checking this, the next thing is to what? To fill the value. So it will use the last value. So instead of 5.0 to appear, we'll see that 1.0 appear because the value, the first value in our row number A is what? 1.0. Okay, let us run and see. You see? So we have 1.0, 1.0. Okay, this is our original value, which is on row C, which is 2.0. But if we look at row number C, we have 2.0. So the last value in our the last current value or valid value in is in row number C when it is reading the data. So the next thing to fill when it come across the null value, it will fill it with the what? With the preceding value. The preceding value, which is the last valid value, which is what 2.0 is going to be what replicated in what in row number D. In row number D, then our original value is here, which is it will not change. In row number E, it's here. Okay. For example, let's say okay, let's say for example this is maybe 9. We change this to 9. Okay, we change this one maybe to sorry, I'm sorry, please, I have a very sensitive computer. Let's say we change this to maybe 2. Okay, then we run it. Now we are going to have first value has changed as 2 and the third value has changed as what 9. So let's move on to our fill now. Okay, so now we want to do the what? We would like to work on the what? The fill forward method. Okay, if we run it, we are expecting column B to be what? Column B to be 2, and sorry, row number B to be 2, and row number D to be what? 9 here. this one, B and D, they have to change to the new values. So you can see. So now B is 2 and D is what? 9, because of what? Of the changes that we have from the data. Then we have the opposite of it, which is the backfill to propagate the next the next one. Okay, the opposite of it. So when we run, okay, we can see what we have. Okay, so now we have B, because C is the what? Is the immediate value after B. So B is going to be replicated on what? The immediate value after it. Then we have D is going to be replicated with what? Or fill up with the last value immediately after it, which is what? Which is row number E. Okay. Then the next thing is for us, we would like to identify how we can remove duplicate values. It is very common to have duplicate values in a data set, but if you try to carry out any analysis or try to train an algorithm and develop a model using a duplicate values, you may end up producing inaccurate result, which may lead to a wrong decision, and it is not ideal in the field of data science. Okay, so therefore we have now the fourth data frame, which is example 4. We have a data frame here called with two attributes, or with two features, letters and numbers with its respective value. You can see that the first one, the first values, or the first feature values of letter is array containing string character A and character B in a string format, but they said multiply by 2. That means to be duplicated. Okay, okay. Then plus what? B. Okay, as a separate value. Then we have numbers 1, 2, 1, 3, 3. Okay, so now if we run this code, okay, we can see that we have what? Letters here, and as the what? First column heading with its respective values. A, B, they are the first one. These ones, we have them on row 0 and row 1. Then they are to be duplicated. Then we have what? Another similar feature possible values, which is A and B on row number 3 and row number 4 with indexing 2 and 3. Then we have the original last value also as what? B. We have its what? Corresponding values 1, 2, 1, 3, 3 on the second column that has a feature called numbers. Okay. Apologies, please. My computer is very sensitive. Okay. Then if we want to know whether we have duplicated values in this data frame or not, then we can use this function called a data frame dot duplicated function. Okay, because this example 4 means like a data frame. Okay, so you can see that it says the first one is false, which is true. It's not on the first row. This A is not a duplicated value. B, the second on the second row, indexed by 1, is also false because it is not duplicated. But for this third one, it is true, a duplicated. Even the fourth one is duplicated, but I don't know why the program choose to give false here, but it's supposed to be true because of what? It is a duplicated value. Then we have this B. We have B, which is an original value because it is not a duplicate. Okay, I can see the reason. I can see the the reason is sorry. Okay, the reason is we have the first two, they are not duplicated. The third one is duplicated. Then, okay, yes, it is not duplicated, but this the third one, A, which is duplicated true, but the fourth one supposed to be duplicated. I don't know why the program choose to, go this way. I don't know. It's supposed to be true here. It's supposed to be true. Then the number 4 is supposed to be what? False, because this last B, it is not a duplicated one. Okay. So this is what we have. So now if we want to drop duplicate values from this data frame, okay, we are going to use drop underscore duplicate functions to do that. Okay, so we can see that from our record, we are only left with what? Our original values, A, B, and B. That is, the first one is on what? First row, second row, and what? The third row, which is here. This one is an original on the row 0. On the row number 1 is also original. Then on row number 3, it's original. Okay, I think what happened is that it's supposed to be row 4, but the program choose to, before duplicating B, it now puts the last original B. Okay, I now understand. I understand. Okay, so I think it is correct, because if you check, okay, it says this one on the 0 row, we have false false, which is true. Then we have this one on the row number 2, which is a duplicator. It says true, but instead of using the duplicated value of B, then it now consider row number 3 and put the original B first to be false, then put the duplicated B comes last. Okay, so it is really, really correct. So it's part of the reason why we have only 3 rows, which are our original rows, to have duplicated non-duplicated values, because the duplicated values have been dropped by this function. Okay, I think it's already 3 o'clock or past 3 with 1 minute. This brings to the end of this session. Please, if you have any question, please feel free to ask. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mahmoud. It's nice to have you to give us a talk. So let me quickly share my screen to show some of our assignment for this week. So that Lukman, can you give me a co-host? Lukman, can you add me as co-host? Lukman, are you there?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, if you can add me as co-host, please. Right. So great. So thank you for joining this week. And just to reiterate, I always say this is what we are doing, just to make sure that people that miss some stuff. So as you already know, today this is where we covered, just excuse me. Okay. So today this is what we did. Working with data, techniques for cleaning and transforming data. Now, tomorrow and the week after, what we'll be doing is doing what we call visualization, data visualization. So we'll start seeing how to use Matplotlib to do a lot of visualization. So tomorrow we'll be doing this. But for today, after today's session, we'll upload the recording. But we have, if you come here, we have some assignment for you. So if you look at this one here, this is our folder. The moment you click it, which is called, you can see data preparation, right? So when you see this data preparation, we do have, you can see assignment, we can have assignment.ipymb, we have assignment.md, And then we have this and the notebook for today lecture. So this working with data preparation, all this section, you can see it, you can read it, but we will also upload the notebook that Dr. Mahmoud presented. But we also have another notebook here, if you see it, notebook. So this notebook is, you can use it to practice what is discussed here. For example, data frame, you can see it here. This is the lecture note for what, there are some exercises along the way. You can see null values, dropping null values, you can see them, exercise, filling null values, you can see all this stuff, right? Everything here. So along the way, there are some exercises that are meant for you to just practice while you are reading. Just a good advice is that don't just attend the lecture and feel like, no. The best way and the surest way for you to learn this is to get your hands on, to just practice. So if you want to, you can clone this and have this notebook, go through it, practice. And then we have assignment. So this is the assignment. You can see assignment.md, which is markdown. You already know what markdown is. We did it in our step 1. So if you look at this assignment MD, this is the assignment, evaluating data from a form. A client has been testing these and gather something. So this is it. You are provided with this. Just look at the assignment. You will be able to see what. So this is the something about the assignment, about IPYMB. That is notebook. Yeah. So what you can do now is to start working on your assignment for this week. This is for data preparation. Also tomorrow when we have the lecture, we have assignment for tomorrow lecture. And what you can do is work with your mentor. If you have any issue, ask your mentor, ask in the general channel. You don't understand something or you want help from that. And within the week, we may have one of our mentors to go through, live session doing the assignment so that everyone that find it difficult in doing that, the mentor will explain from A to Z on how to do that assignment. So I hope this will be helpful. Every week we'll be having the assignment that will, solidify your understanding and get your, you to practice what you learn. So without much further ado, I think we are on top of the hour. If you have many other questions, you can, ask in our Discord channel. Somebody is asking to link to the GitHub. We already have this one. Everyone in our cohort session has access to our GitHub, right? Unless if you are just joining us today, but I can still share the link for the GitHub. Yeah, but the best thing is to join our Discord for that. Any question? I'm happy to take some question before we go. Okay, so I think there's a question. So let me quickly share the GitHub repository so that the person that was asking can, use our.
I can see one brother Imran is saying that can we use Jupyter notebook that you used? Why not 100%?
Yeah, you can use whatever you want to do data science. Anything you want to do, you can do it. The platform you work is immaterial of your learning stuff. So you can use anything you want. Yeah. But for our data science, for our fellows, what we did was in our stage 1, we already teach them how to use VS Code so that they will find the learning much easier using because VS Code is like kind of standard, tool that people use, in learning data science, in doing data science. So we teach them in stage 1 how to use VS Code, and most of our fellows, I think, are using VS Code right now. So that's why we are using because, but you can use anything you want. It's not necessary. Yeah. Thank you. When is the deadline for, associate data come? Yeah. So the associate data come, the deadline is, when we finish this machine learning, because in associate data come, I think there is machine learning part and something like that. So we still have many months to finish, and I can see some of you have already started finish the associate data come. So I saw one, I couldn't remember the name, but he finished the data come and I even retweeted his own, So it's good you practice. That's why we have all this at your fingerprint to learn more in on top of what we are doing in our session, because things are much, like we cannot cover everything. So having given you access to the data camp where you can explore everywhere, you can use your mobile phone to learn along the way. You can explore a lot. Yeah. Okay, thanks. Hassan Muhammad has question. Go ahead, Hassan Muhammad Jalo.
Yes, thank you, Doctor. The first question was you can have access to a copy of the notebook the doctor used.
Yeah, that copy of notebook will be shared in our. Remember, we have our notebook. So let me share my screen again to show you where, as we already explained last week, that this is where. So if you look at this one here, this is our repository. You can see slides notebook material. So this slide notebook material, we upload every lecture that we have. So if you go through it here, you'll be able to see introduction to NumPy, introduction to pandas, Python for dinner. This is a book we already, and this is the introduction which I did. So we'll be able, Dr. Mahmoud will push this one, is the lecture today here, so you will have access. So every week, everything will be shared here. After the lecture, just check here. If it's not updated, you can ping us or give us like a few hours or a day. That will be uploaded. I hope that answer your question.
Thank you, sir. That's clear.
Yeah, so somebody was asking, are we going to be pushing our GitHub assignment? Yes, you're going to be pushing your GitHub assignment. And tomorrow we will talk to you about how you're going to do that. So similar to what you did in your stage one, where you create a repository for Python and you push your stuff. So this one also, you're going to create a repository and you'll be pushing your assignment. So we'll take you through tomorrow how you can create your repository. You already know that, but we'll just show you the pipeline. But today we started showing you how to do that. Yeah, tomorrow we'll explain how to do that. But also your mentors that are assigned to you will guide you step by step on how to do that. So I think we are making a good progress on, despite the fact that we have some glitches for 1 week. But I hope now today we cover this data preparation. Tomorrow we'll cover this one. In the next 2 weeks we finish now. We will finish with this, data. Stuff. So yeah. Any question? Okay, so yeah, Abu Bakar Muhammad.
Assalamu alaikum, sir. Do you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, sir. Sir, I successfully completed 70% of the associate data camp, but I think the deadline is start of this month, of the next month, sorry.
Okay. I could remember.
So do you think
You are talking about the social data concept that you were given to. Oh, I complete. Abdul Jalil is not here, so he was the one that have the date, the timeline. I'm not sure. So maybe tomorrow he can talk about the timeline. I'm not sure about the timeline because he keep track of all those, assets. Because like if you don't finish, that thing, you will lose access to the data cam. So we give you the deadline. If you miss that thing, you didn't finish, you will automatically be removed. So maybe Abdul Jalil tomorrow will talk about that. Yeah, tomorrow in our session tomorrow, we'll explain that. Does that make sense?
yes, sir?
Okay. All right. So thank you everyone for joining us today. And we see you all tomorrow. And if you have any question, please do ask in the channel, in our Discord channel. We are happy to answer your question. Ciao, ciao for now. Bye.
Ba Portugal
Mahmoud.
kake ba. Kake cewa caca.
Dr. Mahmoud, thank you for
Dr. Chelsea.
today. Nice to have you today here. And thank you very much for coming to us and give your talk. See you tomorrow again. Salam. Bye.
Bara in kira ka za mu ɗan yi magana yanzu.
All right. Okay.